Hi everyone, welcome to the second video on my channel. This is going to be a grooming video. I actually wrote this one out because there's a lot to it, and I didn't really want to miss anything, and I know that even though I wrote it out, I'm still going to miss things. So let's get started. Grooming is a form of manipulation. You mostly hear of it happening to children, but the reality is it can happen to anyone at any time, and for any motive, whether that be sexual, mental, emotional, or physical. The reason why grooming works so efficiently is because it makes the victim feel special in some way. They will shape the victim's perception and blur the lines of what is acceptable and what is not. Oftentimes, the victim will take responsibility for the situation and blame themselves for what is happening. Groomers can push boundaries to, test the waters or, accidental touching, and gradually develop into sexual contact that they will say was accidental. I don't buy into that bullshit. It happens frequently, so it's just don't buy into it. Grooming can be confused for genuine caring and vice versa, which it makes it really, really difficult to spot. It can make the victim take responsibility for any harm that happens. They may become afraid that they will be in trouble for speaking out or being blamed for it or not being believed about what is happening. Which brings me to the trash thinking that is, well, I know so and so and they would never do something like that. This is wrong, and it is wrong for people to do, especially to a child and the victim. It doesn't matter who it is to you, or if a child or a teen it doesn't matter who it is to you. If a child or a teen comes to you and confides in you that something is happening, pull that child away from the person and report it to the cops, regardless of your thoughts on the situation. Do not tell that kid that you think that they are lying, or even worse, accuse the child of doing it themselves. That is something that is super big to me, and that's probably another reason why I had to actually write it out, because that is something that happens a lot, and just saying that it affects me, right? So this is wrong, and it's abusive, no matter if the victim is a child or not. It can be an adult. It's still wrong of other people to do to that person. The groomer can develop a relationship with those around the victim to maintain a level of security and control. In quotations, even if that victim came, whose ever name came out with the truth, no one would believe them, because I have crafted relationships so well that they see me as being good, right? That is their security blanket. If you have control over the victim, if they are a child, if you're a parental figure or a big sister or a big brother, if you have some sort of say-so in the child's life, that's what I mean by control, then don't allow that child to be around that person again. It is likely that something happened to make them feel uncomfortable, even if it comes to light that the victim is lying, because that has happened, right? That is a thing that happens. But more than likely, something made the child, the person, uncomfortable in that situation. They can isolate the child from others, again, because they position themselves to be trusted. Trust, always, 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 always trust your gut instinct, okay? If something doesn't feel right, it might not be, and seek help from authorities, or even from someone who doesn't know the groomer, right? And the reason why I say that is because you're getting a non-biased point of view, right? You're taking your perception and you're giving it to someone else, And along with the facts, you have to always include the facts of what you've seen, you know, and then they can tell you if your instincts feel right. And then you go from there, you go to the authorities from there, right? And you allow them to handle it, because it's going to come to light no matter what, right? Well, it does matter. It doesn't always come to light, even if it is happening. Okay, don't take that as whole, because like it can be hidden and it can be dropped, right? But still go to the authorities if you feel like there's something wrong, okay? Some red flags for grooming is building trust with the victim and their families, along with, you know, the victim's friends and stuff, gaining more and more access with the victim, positioning themselves as a particularly strong and safe person in the victim's life, finding reasons to spend alone time with the victim, isolating the victim from those who care about them, requesting the victim to keep secrets. This also is trust building and can aid in making the victim feel more special. Unnecessary touching, like piggyback rides, tickling, back pats, you know, putting an arm around them, and so on. Like, there's so many different things. Exposing the victim to inappropriate conversations or media, gift giving without an appropriate occasion for doing so. Frequent contact with the victim via social media or text. This happens a lot. You see it a lot online. It is a problem online. Like, this is an all the time thing with kids and adults, and like the shit's ridiculous, okay? Emotionally identifying with youth. This happens frequently as well. And it also builds on the trust of the victim. And yeah, it's just it's not it, chief, right? And there's a lot more than just that, but those are just some red flags. I wish to also add that 1/3 of sexual abuse in children involves another child. So be really mindful. When you hire a babysitter, for example, just make sure that they have the right training, and you have, you know, like you at least know who they are and stuff, and then, you know, always keep your eyes out. I'm not saying look, but always keep your eyes out for red flags. It's always to be safe than sorry, right? Yeah, and then also be mindful of teachers. I have personally been affected by a teacher, and on a separate occasion, there was a completely different, like, I was at a completely different school. It was a completely different situation and everything. And there was a teacher that was having a relationship with a student that was in my grade. This teacher was also in my grade. This teacher taught me and that student together. Like, we were in the same class. The teacher ended up going to prison for it. Like, people found out, and, you know, because that shit's not okay, right? Like, it was a thing. And yeah, so that's just the basic rundown for grooming. I've also seen it happen to where it's not, the grooming can be like not just making that person feel special in the beginning, right? That the grooming can also be a very, very, very negative and abusive thing, right? So they can treat that person or that child like trash, right? Like, they can treat them really, really, really bad, and then apologize, and then publicly apologize. I know that this happens more with like adults than with children, just to make that person feel good, and publicly apologize any and every opportunity that they possibly can. to have made that person feel so bad. But it's all for an agenda. It's all a manipulation tactic, because that's all that grooming is, right? It's to get a specific goal from that person. And grooming can happen literally everywhere. It can happen with your boss, right? Like, your boss can actually groom you. Adults, I mean, when I say adult, like adult foster care, like stuff like that happens. I mean, it is literally, there is no age range, okay? It is a manipulation, and it is very abusive. And like, the effects that grooming has on people is, and this is just a small little thing. It's, you know, the person feels isolated. They can go to depression, have mood swings, you know, behavioral changes. Lack of trusting can come from grooming. You know, so it's really foul, right? It's extremely horrible to do to someone, and especially children, right? It's so gross. I hope this helps. My next video, I think I'm gonna do grounding techniques, and then we'll move from there. I am really happy to be here with you guys, and I'm happy that you guys are supporting me and having my back, and that's really cool. Yeah, thank you for everything, and thank you for listening and watching my video. If you would like to hit the like button and like maybe subscribe or something, that's fine. I would appreciate that, because it allows, you know, these videos to get out there to other people. And you know, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have been abused, and so like, I think that the more that we are able to get this information out into the public, and, you know, break the stigmas and the myths around the trauma and like sexual assault and stuff, I think it can help kids, right? Because if people are knowledgeable, they know what to look out for. You know, you can't play ignorant to it. And it helps with the children, you know, because they will see, they will be able to, you know, go to the proper authorities and be able to help, you know, that child. Yeah, and then also another thing is, I believe that, so my quote was 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men. I don't believe that that's entirely accurate. I think that the male percentage is off. I do believe that it is more than likely 50-50, because there's this whole perception of, and it, like, when I think back to high school, like, boys would think that older women and babysitters are, you know, amazing, and like, they would want to get with them. But that's still sexual assault, okay? That's still grooming. That's still, like, if it were to occur, these are all still things. It's still sexual abuse, sexual assault, you know, grooming. It's all the same thing, right? But the perception is that's okay, when in reality, it's not. It is definitely not okay. So a lot of those cases go unreported, right? Because it's okay, it's the cool thing. So I just wanted to like throw that out there, because I do believe that that statistic is wrong, for the males portion. And I do believe that a lot of the males, or, you know, and then you also have the problem that you run into of like embarrassment, right? That does not just go for the women's side of it, but it also goes for the male side of it the side of it where it's like, you know, embarrassment and shame, right? And like no one wants to say what actually happened because they don't want to feel that, right? Yeah. So again, I don't think that the males is particularly right. I think that it needs to be higher than what it actually is. And yeah, so there's my video on grooming. Again, I hope this helps, you know, someone, and at least recognizing or trying to be able to recognize if someone's being groomed around you, or if you know someone that like is potentially being groomed, right? Or if you yourself like could be getting groomed and you don't realize it because it's hard to know your own boundaries if you don't know exactly what boundaries are, right? Like everyone knows what the word is, but like how does one have boundaries and uphold those boundaries, right? That's a whole different beast, right? So yeah, I hope everyone is having a wonderful day and a wonderful evening or a wonderful night, and I hope you all are well. Thank you, and have a good night.